Hello, everybody. This is Atmanityananda and his virtual academy, spiritual academy, Advaita Atma Yoga Academy. I want today to present a very important subject, the fundamental aspects of moment-to-moment practice. That means how we can live consciously moment-to-moment. What are the essential parts of practice to live consciously moment to moment. What I will present is what I have, and I continue to practice in my spiritual inner journey. So I want to show you this table. The fundamental aspects of moment-to-moment practice are to be vigilant, alert, and attentive, 1. To control our mind and senses, 2. To maintain self-awareness and deepen in self-awareness. Witness our psychological world and observe what is happening moment-to-moment in ourselves. We can remain also as witnesses of the external world and observers. Avoid identification with egoic tendencies, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and in general all psychological structures, expressions, and also to avoid identification with sensory impressions. To stop attraction, seduction that exert on us the egoic tendencies or emotions, and thus avoid identification with them. In order to succeed in this, we have to use some kind of inquiry or another method. And this will result to the pacification or calming of the emotion, impulse, tendency, whatever will be have been manifested in us. And finally, we can use some prayer or a mantra to diminish to some degree the egoic tendency, the energy of the egoic tendency in the form of desire, anger, emotion, impulse, whatever it may be. These are the fundamental aspects of moment-to-moment practice. In reality, what we call practice after some time will be our way of living our life. To be attentive, it's not a practice in reality, it's to live attentive. To live self-aware, aware of ourselves is something natural, it's not a practice in reality. But it becomes a practice because we are so accustomed to live in attentiveness or identification or self-forgetfulness. So in order to regain this natural state of self-awareness and attentiveness, we must do something for it. So in the beginning, it appears to be a kind of practice, but in reality, it's a way of living. It's our life. In the same way we do with the language. Now I speak not so well, but quite well. I can express in English my thoughts and ideas. But in the beginning, it was very difficult. I had to exercise, to study every day, and I continue, of course. But now I have the capacity to express my ideas quite effortlessly. It doesn't take so much effort. And when we were young children, 2 or 3 years old, we have difficulty to speak. But by studying and practicing every day, then we can speak our mother language very effortlessly. My language is Greek. I can speak Greek very easily. It's my life. But in the beginning, it was something I had to learn. And now it's my life. It's a way of living. The same happens with all so-called spiritual practices. And some of them in reality, or some of them are practices. For example, to do hatha yoga asanas, bodily asanas, is a kind of practice. But to remain vigilant and attentive, it's not precise to say it is a practice. It's something natural. But because we are accustomed and programmed to live with inattentiveness, it appears to be a practice for us. But after some time, we will develop this capacity to remain focused. Then it will be our way of living, to be focused and self-aware and to observe naturally what is happening without doing any special effort for it. In reality, to observe ourselves does not need any effort, but it needs this subtle effort, which is not an effort in the common meaning of the word effort. Difficult to say what it really is. But we need to do something very subtle in order to remain attentive and self-aware. Because if we have not this alertness, we very easily identify with thinking, emotions, and external reality. We lose ourselves in what we perceive and lose self-awareness. And we fail to experience the silent, consciously, the silent, peaceful, and blissful, and whole essential nature. Our essential nature, which is peaceful, blissful, and whole. That's all. So these are, again, one more, and I will explain a little more what these aspects of practice are. So, vigilance, being alert, attentive. To be attentive to what we perceive outside, to what we have decided to do our job, for example, to pay attention on something. And of course, paying attention on what is happening within us, and paying attention to the silent space within, which is self-awareness. Okay, I put them 1, 2, 3, 4, but in reality, some of them go together. Control of senses and mind means that the senses habitually go here and there because of the pulling power of the ego, which drives our attention and mind here and there in order to find some kind of pleasant or pleasurable experience. And that's why you are almost always distracted and agitated by this mechanical manifestation of the egoic tendencies. So to maintain our mind focused, control of mind here means to maintain our mind focused on what we have decided to be focused on, and not let the senses go here and there as they did until now. And this will enable us to see this tendency of senses to go here and there, and that our attention and mind are attracted to certain sensory impressions. Self-awareness, to remain in contact with the silence within, we can use, for me, the best way to use a mantra or an affirmation of our true self, to remain in conscious contact with the inner silence. There are also other means, but for me, mantra and an affirmation for my true self, like peace I am, or consciousness I am, silence I am, peace I am. Om silence, Om consciousness, Om peace, Om, Om, Om. Or Atman I am, Atman I am, Om Atman, Om Atman. By repeating things, I remind myself to connect with the silence. And also, I do not permit the ego to create unnecessary thinking for useless things and to create misery in me. I use thoughts, luminous thoughts, like mantras and thought and phrases related to my true nature. And when we connect deeply with this silent space of consciousness, we take this state, this attitude of witness and observer. It happens by itself. The deeper we go in the silence, the more we take this witnessing and self-observing attitude state. Because we are aware of ourselves, and as from that state of self-awareness, we are we observe what is happening inside and outside us. And when something arises in us, we put our attention fully on it to become fully aware of it and know we have a very clear knowledge about it and understanding. And by realizing the constant repetition of certain emotions and thoughts and patterns, emotional and mental patterns, we understand and realize that they are not us, but are mechanical reactions of the program, of the egoic self. And with these fourth aspects, we can avoid identification with egoic tendencies, thoughts, emotions, etc. So the goal is to avoid identification with all psychological expressions that arise in us. And we can do it by being attentive, alert, and self-aware. But if this is not possible, then we must use some kind of inquiry or other method to stop the attraction, seduction, and identification with them. So if there is strong expression of some tendency, anger, let's say anger or gluttony or whatever it may be, then it's difficult for us to maintain distance with it, a distance from it, and maintain the connection, deep connection with the silence within, then we must use some kind of inquiry or another method to stop this attraction and seduction, and thus we will avoid identification. Or if we already have identified with this tendency and we find ourselves identified with the tendency, we can also, if we regain some degree of presence, attention, and awareness, then we can use again some method to stop this identification, attraction, and seduction. And this will result to the appeasement, pacification of the emotion, impulse, whatever may be, have been manifested in us. And the final step, it is to eliminate the field of this egoic tendency to some degree, to diminish this egoic energy to some degree through the power of prayer or the power of a mantra or other means. But for me, the most important and powerful ways to diminish the egoic energies is prayer and mantra. Oh God, please, oh Divine Mother, or the light and the peace divine permeate me and dissolve this anger energy and fill my whole being with peace, love, and light. Oh, Divine Mother, please dissolve this anger energy in me and fill me with peace, love, and light. Fill my whole being with peace, love, and light. We can do once, 3, 4 times this prayer, or we can also repeat the mantra. For example, the mantra Om. Here is the anger. I'm already fully aware of the anger and connected with the silence, inner silence. It is better, the more, the deeper I am in the silence, the better is condition to dissolve the egoic energy. So the deeper connection with the silence within, or feeling this egoic energy, and I say the mantra, oh, and I feel the vibration of mantra to permeate this anger energy. I don't do anything more. The connection with the silence And the power of mantra will dissolve, will diminish this energy to some degree, I say, not totally, and will subside in this moment. So if not, if it is very strong, we have to do other things, but it's not, I don't want to present them in this presentation. I want here to say only the fundamental aspects of practice and how we can address the tendencies when they don't assume a very strong expression, when they assume a subtle or medium expression regarding the how much intense or strong they manifest. So I hope this presentation I have given you a clear idea what are the main aspects of spiritual practice moment to moment. In reality, how we can live consciously moment to moment, how we can avoid identification with the program, the conditioned mind and ego, and maintain awareness, maintain conscious connection with the silent space of consciousness, which is our true self, and which is peace and bliss and plenitude. The deeper is our connection with the self, or the essence, better to say, this silent essence, the more we experience peace and plenitude and fullness and freedom. The more we identify with the ego and the external mind, the more we live in misery, and we go constantly from pain to pleasure, to any kind of pain and pleasure. Can be a little bit boredom. For me, this is pain, suffering. It can be a little annoyance, to feel a little bit this sense of dissatisfaction. I don't feel well psychologically. It may be any subtle low frequency vibration in us. For me, this is pain or suffering. You may say, no, this is not suffering. Okay, anyone can use the words as they like. But to me, it is clear that or I live in peace, love, and plenitude, or I live some kind of a mental, emotional vibration. Okay, it can be emotional vibration of joyfulness. This is sattvic, it's okay. But most of the time we live in the lower aspect of mind, not the higher, the sattvic. So I hope all this information to help you having a clear understanding about the important aspects of living consciously moment to moment, how you can live consciously moment to moment, what you have to do to develop in order to live more and more from the center of your existence, from the essence, from your essence, and experience the peace and bliss and freedom, and less to experience less and less all the conditioned patterns of low frequency. In the beginning, to stop identification with them. It's not easy to stop all these reactions and manifestations. But first of all, to know them, to stop identifying with them, and gradually to dissolve them. And at the same time, develop more and more the connection, the conscious connection with the silent space of consciousness, and experience more and more the peace and the plenitude and freedom we are as consciousness. I wish you peace, love, and light in your life. I wish you to awaken to your true nature and experience more and more the peace and bliss and freedom of your divine essence or soul. Namaste.